from the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve of the Meerkat Magic Conservation Project, and this is my first attempt at a live video stream on YouTube. And what we're going to do, since there's good internet coverage around the Meerkat Mansion, is step outside into the inferno of over 40 degrees centigrade. Yes, big shout out to all my friends around the world. I hope you are having a wonderful festive season with friends and family and staying safe. Let's have a look at the wildlife burrow systems that have been constructed by myself and Alessia Torchini from Italy and Asia Chili from Italy. This is one of the examples. If you have a look at one of the videos that has recently been added, we are rehoming many wild animals by creating colonies for them to move into. As you can tell by looking around here, it is an absolute scorcher of a day. I'm just going to zoom in because I don't want to lose the Wi-Fi connection. You can see additional tubes in the ground all the way along that raised section of sand there. And I wanted to take you out on this little live walk with me. Now, earlier today, the dominant female, the world famous dominant female from Mongoose Magic Moments, that is, of course, Kakulu Kuchiolina Cherentola Tsebokolodi, was here using this burrow just earlier today. She makes it a routine of hers to come past here every single day. There you can see how this pipe system has been buried. The pipes have been raised and also put at a slight angle so that water does not in fact flow up or down the pipe. And that way the animals don't have a flooded tube. Now the reason for this is well explained in Italian and by myself in English, and you can use subtitles and AI translation on the main video. You'll find two of them, the construction of these burrows and then the actual usage of the burrows by the different animals. Let's just have a look around. You can see this is a very remote area, and that is why right now, streaming around the world, I'm using that massive tower up there on this Meerkat Mansion Research Base, surrounded by wild meerkats, mongoose of the yellow mongoose species, Cape grey mongoose, water mongoose, large grey, also known as the Egyptian mongoose, Cape clawless otter, bat-eared foxes, ant bears, porcupine, scrub hares, steenbuck, grey duiker, a massive list. And you can find many of the videos, of course, on YouTube. And you'll probably know this since you are no doubt watching on YouTube right now. Please do like and subscribe and share. I will do more live videos, and remember, you can ask questions, put in your comments, and I will get back to you. If this goes well, I will start doing live streams of the mongooses visiting the area, which is unique in the world to see, and of course the Ungulungu meerkats, which live only a few hundred meters from the house. Of course, their location is secret for their own protection. There's no GPS markings or anything like that made. And you can see this wildlife water feature I dug out of this basically concrete-like soil here. It's colonite clay. This is an ancient riverbed system, and way off into the distance, going many kilometers deep, all the way up to the Great Black Mountain Range, a World Heritage Site, is just wilderness. We have many large predators here as well, including the Cape leopard. And we have black-backed jackals, Cape foxes, the bat-eared foxes as well, of course. And the caracal. Many people will never get to see these animals because they're so shy and secretive. Unfortunately, due to intensive farming and other land usage practices over hundreds of years in the Western Cape Oudtshoorn region of South Africa, that's a lovely breeze picking up to just cool me down a bit while I'm out here chatting to you. Again, hello to anybody who's just joining in now. We're having a look at the wildlife hotels that have been created by myself and Alessia Torchini from Italy and her daughter Asia Chile. These will eventually be colonized by plants, and this is the start of a water feature. If you'd like to find out how you can visit the area, check the comments for details and visit me, send me an email, WhatsApp, and you'll get more information. I also have volunteer positions open for people who are serious about helping to build and construct wildlife hotels all around the reserve. Way off in the distance is the world famous Stone Dojo gym. You can just see it peeking out over there. Yeah, all constructed by myself over many, many years. No machinery was used. And of course, this is the home of the Stone Dojo gym, martial arts dojo, outdoor gym, eco gym. Stone Dojo Gym cycling adventures and the Stone Dojo Gym running adventures. There's a separate channel for that as well, but of course this main channel is all about reserve life. You may not be able to see the entrance, and I'm not going to go any further there because I might lose internet signal here from that tower. It's quite a small coverage. I aim to get it covering the entire area, hopefully in the future, as the technology improves in the area, and then I will be able to give you videos from anywhere on the reserve, even down at the river and even at night, using night vision equipment. That's the Great Black Mountain Range, and you might be able to recognize what they call the old man of the mountain. Yeah, that's the forehead, the nose, the eyes lying down, and it gets covered in snow in the winter months here from May, June, July, August. But we have had 40 degrees centigrade heat days in December, and incredibly, we've had heavy snowfall arrive. Yeah, that's quite unbelievable to see meerkats here, hence the name Meerkat Magic Moments, and being the first research biologist in the world to prove that meerkats actually exist here. You will also find the proof with the photographs of them with the snow in the background on that very mountain range with the old man of the mountain behind it in my Meerkats book 2016. You'll find all the information on the YouTube site, or you can visit my X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok account, Facebook, Mongoose Magic Moments, Meerkat Magic Moments, the free groups to join over there, and of course my 2 Facebook profiles, the author, the professional version of it, and then just my private for friends and close acquaintances account. Please do send me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know which of our friends have actually tuned in. And again, it's Sunday. Can you believe it? Many people that I know right now are in torrential flood zones, in freezing cold, and this is an oven. It is absolutely cooking, and we are in a severe drought right now. We haven't had any decent rainfall for over half a year already. And even my beautiful riverine reeds, which I have planted here, this entire eco wall, incidentally, for those who haven't seen the video of me making this, I have been making over many years. This is what I call applied gym or outdoor gym. Power with purpose. Yeah. So these reeds have all been planted here individually by myself and brought up from the river system down in the riverine part of the reserve. And now many animals are moving in here, including the Cape weaver, Plosius capensis, and the mast weaver, Plosius vellatus. Don't you love Google? You can just check those names right now if you don't believe what they actually are. I used to have this on my visits when I had thousands of people visiting me over the years when I was doing mainstream tourism, all the way back from 2001. And people would wonder about these scientific names. The reason I use scientific names, people, in case you're always wondering about this or ever have wondered about it, is there are 11 official languages in this country, not counting sign language. And that's the last I checked. There could be even more now. The point is there's one scientific name per species. No matter where you are in the world, you will know what a Plosius vellatus is if you ever search for it. Again, the mast weaver. Oh, a swallowtail butterfly just flew past. Now they are, of course, searching for orange trees and lemon trees in this area so that they can go leave the next generation of caterpillars to munch away people's crops. Yeah. Very happy about these nests because this is as I mentioned, an eco wall. So it's about environmental rehabilitation and reconstruction in an area which is just completely barren and bare, such as this ground. And I'm hoping to cover this in a plastic sheeting to have a very, very shallow covering of water just for all the wildlife that visit here. Of course, many animals come to visit this area because I established this by digging through the cement-like concrete using a massive rebar or steel bar. Wow, that was back in 2008 when I moved here. All right, we've got a little mouse bird, and they're quite easy to recognize because of their very long tail feathers. There are 3 different species here: the speckled, the red-faced, and the whiteback. And right now they're busy eating the berries off this Cashinus mole. Shout out to my American friends in California. Yeah, because of course this is where this tree is from. It's also known as the Californian pepper tree. It's an ornamental, and you can eat the peppercorns, and they sell for a lot more than black peppercorns in general. And it's right next to the Ris Lancia, or mountain curry, Bergkurrie, for any of our Afrikaans viewers out there. I am very happy about this because this tree has in fact established itself here as part of what I call the tax collectors of nature's rebate. When they came to drink water, they deposited the seed, and because these seeds have a very tasty fruit, they are eaten by many of the birds, such as the mouse birds, which were just munching on the seeds now. And then once the seed has passed through the digestive tract, which is known as ornithozoochory, to get technical. Zoochory is the dispersal of seeds through animals, and pneumochory is through wind, hydrochory is through water. So, and you get epizoochory, which is external seed dispersal, and endozoochory. So in fact, it would be endo-ornithozoochory. We'll also get myrmecochory or myrmecochory, depending on how you like to say it, where ants actually transport seeds beneath the ground. And this is a convergent development or evolution, as scientists call it, where the plant has become completely dependent on the ants to take the seeds underground so that when there are fires, the plants are not destroyed. And the ants benefit because they eat the fatty eleosum, which is a waxy layer on the seed. And they don't eat the seed itself. And we have these vegetarian ants here on the reserve. And I have in fact made a video about that in the past. You can check it out. You'll find many different playlists on the YouTube channel. Here we have a young nature's tax rebate, another Californian pepper tree. Now these are exotic trees. However, because this is a farm around the actual Meerkat Mansion, we leave it like this for historical interest. But then we do have indigenous trees such as the thorn tree here, which used to be called the acacia karoo. And just a shout out to all the scientists who are reclassifying everything and calling them different scientific names. You are not appreciated. And I hope you know who you are when I tell you this, because so many scientific names that we had to learn as research wildlife biotechnicians have been changed. But the good news is if you Google the original names, you still find them along with the newest versions. Anyway, moving along. Let's have a little stroll up onto this embankment here. Up ahead we have the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve, organic, wildlife-friendly produce, and all of the olive trees that are planted here in 2016, which were about 2.5 years old at the time, just over 100 of them, have been producing fruit. They're the Mission, the Coratina, the Frantoia, and the Lucino. Yeah, quite tricky to remember those names, I must say, especially in this heat when my brain is cooking. Yeah. And today is a beautiful day, and I'm delighted to announce, for those who've been following the work, the Ungulungu Meerkats have actually moved into the Tsebokolodi yellow mongoose main family burrow. And I was there this morning. I was up at 4 o'clock. And I was watching them emerge just after 5 o'clock. Yellow mongoose, dominant male, Novulino, was the first to wake up. 20 minutes to 5 already, and there were still stars out, and he was out and about, and it was already hot, and the cicadas, these little insects which are called bush thermometers, were whining loudly and protesting about the heat. They start whining after about 28 degrees centigrade on average, I find here. Here you can see we're completely off grid now. There are solar panels. We have a very, very small carbon footprint. I even sold my vehicles, the Meerkat mobiles that are world famous. And in fact, in BMW, you can have a look at BMW Unscripted, the film series with 5 chosen BMW owners. And the Meerkat mobile was one of them. That's from 2010. You can find it in all the BMW websites around the world. It was also shown on the Super Bowl, incidentally, for those who may have seen it. Yeah, point is, I mountain bike and run everywhere. To get to town is 16.32 kilometers one way. So it's a lovely 32 plus Ks just to get to the outskirts of town. And I used to mountain bike there from 2017 all the way through to July 2019 before that horrendous COVID hit us. Even out here, COVID crept in, or the vid, as I call it. Yeah, but every second week I would take my backpack and ride into town, go collect over 25 plus kilograms worth of lentils and other staples, and then return to the Meerkat Mansion. That was very intensive going. Yeah, if anybody out there is interested in joining me on a lovely exploration, I have access to all of these different privately owned areas with very secretive wilderness trails. Of course, there are many wild animals living here. You will see various antelope species as well, such as the kudu and the eland, for example. And just over the road from here next to the dojo, we also have inyala, which have been introduced to one of the properties. Yeah, and springbuck as well are here. So beautiful selection of animals to see. But of course, an area like this is most famous for the digging mammals, the Shy Five, as I called them originally back in 2001. And just a reminder to everyone, that's intellectual property of the Meerkat Magic Conservation Project for everybody who is using that. It's not the big five, it's not the little five, it's not the high five, it's the Shy Five. Porcupine, ant bear, bat-eared fox, meerkats, and wolf, all chosen because they're digging mammals, all chosen because they're the true wild animals. In other words, they've never been introduced to an area. They're there because they choose to be there. They've never been touched by a human or had any interference from a human, and they're all diggers. They can go under fences, through and over fences in many cases, and of course they're all greatly misunderstood. And I'll give you an example of this. You'll find my articles all over the internet, but one of them is with the bat-eared foxes, Lotus Laegalotus, and as they've changed that name, meaning big ear, basically. Over the mountain range to the north, we have the Great Karoo. This is the Little Karoo or Klein Karoo, a valley which used to be covered in water and huge riverbed systems, even a riverbank over there in the distance, and now is full of fossilized or ancient or extinct riverbed systems with the various alluvial deposits such as kaolinite, clay, and calcrete deposits, which are perfect for digging mammals. However, they are also very much sought after for farming, to plant crops for the ever ravenous stock in the area, such as the ostriches, Struthiocamelus. Yes, that is why I'm in the Little Karoo in the first place, to encourage land usage practices to zonate these highly sensitive ecotones. An ecotone is also known as a hotspot. We've got the succulent karoo around us. Succulents are adapted to storing their water in their leaves and stems, for example. We've got beautiful examples of them all over this reserve. And then we've got the subtropical thicket, well known for the Portulacaria afra species, also known as the speckboom or pork bush or elephant bush by some. And then we've got the fynbos, yeah, Fynbos, yeah, Macchia, Macchia, less well known with that name. You'll get it up on Table Mountain near Cape Town. And of course, it consists of the proteas, ericas, leucospermins, which are the pincushions, and various other incredibly beautiful little plants with very fine leaves, hence the name in Afrikaans, fynbos, like fine bush. Yeah, so those are three very distinctive floral or plant biomes, and where they overlap, if you can imagine interlocking circles, that is where we get huge diversity for animals and plants, these ecotones. So the reserve is right in three hotspots, surrounded by them, and it's wonderful. That is why we have such a great diversity of animals here. And because it is so hot, many people are taking shelter at this time of the year, or they are going down to the garden route, the Tain route. Just a bit of a tourism perspective for you. That is the Outeniqua mountain range covered in a blanket of cloud. And the Outeniqua mountain range is less than 70 kilometers away from where I am right now. If you look a lot further, it's less than an hour away. And over the Robinsons Pass, going to Mossel Bay, or the Outeniqua Pass, going to George, you can find incredibly beautiful parts of the Western Cape, going up to Plettenberg Bay, Neisner, Sedgefield, those areas, Dana Bay, all the way along to very secretive little villages. Beautiful. So it's a great place to get away, where the temperature is completely different there compared to this furnace here, sandwiched amongst the Great Karoo and the Swartberg mountain range to the north, and then the Outeniqua to the south. So, ancient riverbed systems, fossorial mammals, paradise. Unfortunately, because of the farming and land usage practices, especially in the past, people simply plowed over and destroyed multi-generational wildlife hotels. You can also check my channel for more information about wildlife hotels. And that is why we are creating additional wildlife hotels. Digging animals cannot simply run into an area like this up ahead and start digging a hole to escape from a predator that's attacking them, like a Lanner falcon, which could reach it in under 5 seconds, traveling at hundreds of kilometers an hour. So imagine a Porsche, how quick that is, 911 turbo. Yeah, a lion can reach a 100-meter sprint probably under 6 seconds, so it's like a Porsche. And there are many other animals in this area even faster when it comes to the bird of prey species that attack meerkats and mongooses, amongst others. So when an animal moves into this area that has been plowed over and burrows have been destroyed, it has nowhere to run to, and it's basically dead. And big areas of land, such as the property up ahead, which is barren, as you can see there, from old farm usage practices, there are simply no digging animals left there because they have no place to go and hide. Even the porcupine has left those areas, and they are pioneer mammals. I've written an eco poem about them as well. You can check it out on my poetry section on the YouTube site. And thank you for your comments on that, incidentally. Yes, the ant bear also leaves, and all the diggers, which are basically crater plows on legs, for those who are aware about reclaiming desertified areas or barren compacted soil, you use saucer-shaped plows which create little craters in the ground, which trap seeds and water, which can then easily infiltrate into the ground. When these compacted areas are baked in a heat like it is today, and there are no diggers digging hundreds of holes like the meerkats, or even thousands in a single day, and nobody's paying them to do that, incidentally. I've asked thousands of people from around the world what would they charge to dig thousands of holes in a day, and I can assure you, no matter what currency you use, it was very expensive for that. And yet the animals are doing it for free. All we need to do is make sure that they have a safe place to run to when there is danger. So when we identify where their holes are, we simply make sure that those are left undisturbed. And when there are no holes, such as in many of these areas, our initiative, again, collaboration with the Association of Suricate Italia, Suricate Association Italy, with Alessia Torchini, and Asia Chile. We are creating this collaboration of creating additional space for digging mammals who have been displaced, who then can return to the area and start recolonizing the area at their leisure. And that is what this is about. So if you have seen the other videos, this should give you a better idea about it. Yeah. And of course, as I mentioned, you're welcome to visit. And if you would like to come out and lend me some of your muscle power, it's always welcome, because it's a very large area and it needs many, many tubes and chambers created. So under the sand there, under the insulation, there are these tubes, but we also already have 2 sleeping chambers which have been used by various species. I may in fact add IP cameras onto some of the burrows in the future, burrow cams that can be logged onto from anywhere in the world, especially for our sponsors. And again, thank you to everybody out there who has sponsored and joined the channel. I really appreciate your support. All right, just moving on. So there is a chamber over there, and there's another chamber over there. And the tubes, entrances, slope upwards, so no water goes into the chamber. Currently, we're busy designing additional kinds of chambers. If you've got any ideas, I have been suggested to go, well, a suggestion has been made, I should say, to go and visit the municipality and ask them for any loose scrap or unused piping systems, because it is not just for the smaller mammals to get into here. We want to have larger ones as well, for porcupine and ant bear, and also many of the larger predatory species too, to get into. So it's a big project, it's a very ambitious project, and I'm delighted to say we've had great success already. And again, if you look at my most recent video before this one, with the baby meerkats in the reserve, and then the one before that as well, where we show the usage of these burrows by Tsebokolodi mongoose families, that's what we're up to. In time, these reeds will grow and get thick and establish themselves. It also creates a dust barrier from the main road going past this area. It's also a sound trap, and of course the white noise of nature, which is what I'm all about in this area, just enjoying all of that meditative white noise, which is highly beneficial. Yeah, the wind rustling through the reeds, the water. This water feature actually has a pipe system which I rigged up through the pepper tree, and it trickles down. It's basically a tree fountain. And it's lovely when that is on. And it's also a solar panel system, incidentally. This property has 6 borehole systems. All right, I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed the visit with me today, friends. And I hope you have a fantastic festive season ahead. Let's see if we can get a reflection. Yeah, there we go. Hello, everybody. Buon pomeriggio. Ciao, ciao, ciao. And have a fantastic rest of the day. Let's sign off there.